It started like any other morning on The View: hot coffee, hot topics, and even hotter opinions. But no one expected fireworks when music icon Cher appeared on the show. Scheduled to promote her new album and speak about women's rights, she strode onto the set in a black leather jacket, sunglasses, and that unmistakable aura of rockstar confidence. The audience gave her a standing ovation before she even sat down. At first, the conversation was light, with Whoopi Goldberg cracking jokes and Sarah Haynes asking about Cher's legacy. But things shifted quickly when Joy Behar turned the topic to politics. She brought up recent comments Cher had made in a podcast about Hollywood hypocrisy and how the entertainment industry was out of touch with average Americans. Joy smirked. "So, Cher, are you saying you're not part of that elite bubble? I mean, let's be honest, you've been famous since disco." The audience chuckled. Cher didn't. "You know what, Joy," she said coolly, removing her sunglasses. "Just because I've been famous doesn't mean I've forgotten where I came from. I came from nothing. I wasn't born in the Hamptons like some of your friends." The mood snapped tense. Joy tried to laugh it off. "Come on, I'm just saying." But Cher wasn't having it. "No, you're implying. You always imply. You dress it up as humor, but it's just smugness." Whoopi raised an eyebrow and tried to intervene. "Ladies." But the clash had already begun. Joy straightened up in her chair. "Excuse me, Cher, but if you're going to come on this show and attack me." "I came on this show to speak my truth," Cher shot back. "Not to be lectured by someone who thinks shouting over people is a debate tactic." Gasps rippled through the audience. A producer off-camera motioned for a commercial break, but Joy wasn't backing down. "You're the guest," she snapped. "Act like one." "I'm not here to play nice," Cher said, standing up, her voice steady but lethal. "I've performed for millions. I've stood up to presidents. I'm not scared of you." When the show returned from commercial, Cher's seat was empty. A tight-lipped Whoopi offered a vague explanation to the viewers. Cher had to leave due to a scheduling conflict. But social media was already on fire. Backstage footage leaked within the hour. It showed Cher storming out of the studio, security and producers trailing her. "You invite me here to talk, then talk over me," she shouted off camera. "No, not happening." By mid-afternoon, #Cher vs Joy was trending on every platform. TikToks analyzed the body language. Twitter was ablaze with Team Cher versus Team Joy discourse. But the real blow came later that evening when The View released an official statement: Cher will not be invited back in the foreseeable future. That only fanned the flames. Cher herself posted a cryptic tweet: "Truth hurts." Even on daytime TV. It racked up millions of likes within hours. Behind the scenes, tensions within the View cast reportedly flared. Sources claimed Whoopi was furious that Joy didn't de-escalate. One producer was overheard saying, "This isn't what the show is about." Or maybe it is now. Joy Behar, never one to stay quiet, addressed it the next morning. "Look, Cher and I are both passionate women. Things got heated. It happens. But I stand by what I said." Audience response was mixed. Some cheered, others booed. And just like that, what started as a promotional appearance turned into one of The View's most chaotic and talked about episodes ever. Cher had walked in a guest, and walked out a legend. Part 3 extended 900 words. The fallout from Cher's now infamous walkout was unlike anything daytime TV had seen in years. While The View continued to air live as if nothing seismic had occurred, viewers knew better. The tension in the studio was now a living thing, palpable, undeniable. Each episode after that Tuesday incident was scrutinized for glances, tone shifts, and post-walkout energy. Joy Behar's usual wisecracks were noticeably toned down. Whoopi's patience had worn visibly thinner. In the audience, they were waiting, eager for another spark. Behind the scenes, The View's producers were in crisis mode. Executives at ABC convened late-night Zoom meetings to discuss how to reframe the narrative. The footage of Cher storming off had shattered into a million TikTok edits, and no amount of PR spin could piece it back together. Public sentiment was clear. Cher hadn't been a difficult guest, she had been disrespected, and stood up for herself with absolute authority. What made matters worse for the show's producers was Cher's unofficial media blitz. She hadn't planned it, but she didn't shy away from it, either. Within 48 hours, she had done appearances on Howard Stern, NPR, The Late Show with Stephen Colbert, and several podcasts. In each, she delivered subtle barbs without naming names. "People want you to smile and sit quietly," she told Stern. "But the moment you speak up and it doesn't fit their script, suddenly you're the problem." "I'm not built to be quiet," Stephen Colbert joked, So would you say you churred too much? She smiled. I'd say I churred just enough. Meanwhile, Joy Behar found herself the subject of a different kind of media coverage, less flattering, more critical. Op-eds surfaced questioning whether The View had become too toxic, too combative, especially toward guests who weren't interested in playing softball. One New York Times culture piece bluntly asked, "Has The View lost its viewers?" Indeed, ratings had spiked immediately after the Cher incident, but now they were dipping fast. Things took another turn when a previously shelved segment from the same day of Cher's visit was quietly leaked online by an anonymous staffer. It showed Joy and Sarah laughing during a commercial break, mimicking Cher's deep voice. Joy, in a sing-song tone, said, "I'm Cher, and I'm better than all of you." Laughter followed, though Whoopi, seated silently, was noticeably not amused. The clip went viral instantly. Fans and celebrities came to Cher's defense once more. Ariana DeBose tweeted, mocking a legend, "Really, y'all are brave and stupid." Rihanna posted a photo of Cher on Instagram with the caption, "Never forget who the real ones are." Under pressure, ABC released a follow-up statement, this time apologizing to Cher. It was unprecedented. They didn't name Joy directly, but the message was clear. The network was scrambling to salvage its relationship with one of the most iconic performers of all time. Cher responded with characteristic flair. She posted a screenshot of the statement with 3 words, "Next time, listen." But the real explosion came 1 week later when Cher dropped a surprise single titled, "Table for One." The lyrics were razor sharp. "Greater than you talk over queens when you feel small. Throw shade with a smile, hoping they'll fall. But I don't bend, I don't run. I flip the script and I'm done." Fans were shook. Critics described it as a diss track dressed in glitter. The accompanying music video, a stylized version of a daytime talk show, complete with hosts in overdone wigs and one guest played by Cher herself rising from her seat, throwing down a glittering microphone, and walking into a hallway of mirrors. It ended with the words, "Truth has no commercial breaks." The music video racked up 30 million views in its first 24 hours. Cher, at 78, had managed to do what few artists half her age could pull off, turn a media disaster into a creative, cultural phenomenon. Meanwhile, The View faced internal rumblings. Staffers leaked to gossip blogs that Joy and Whoopi were no longer speaking off camera. A segment producer allegedly quit after being scolded for not warning Cher in advance about the direction of Joy's questions. And while no official announcements were made, eagle-eyed fans noticed Joy Behar taking a sudden 2-week vacation from the show, right after a ratings report showed a 17% decline among key demographics. During that time, guest hosts filled in, but the absence of Joy was too conspicuous to ignore. On social media, a new fan theory began to float: did Cher get Joy suspended? While there was no evidence of direct involvement, one thing was certain: Cher's presence, even in absence, was commanding. 3 weeks later, Joy returned to the show, and her tone was different. Less snarky, more cautious. She didn't mention Cher by name, but during a segment on cancel culture, she said, "Sometimes, people say things in the heat of a moment. Doesn't mean we're villains. Doesn't mean we're right either." A strange silence followed. Then, out of nowhere, Whoopi replied, "Sometimes, people leave the table to make a bigger point than anyone sitting at it ever could." The audience cheered. Cher, watching from home, or from a luxurious suite somewhere in Europe, retweeted that clip with a single emoji, Mike. By then, Table for One had climbed into the Billboard Top 10, making Cher the oldest artist in history to do so. A remix featuring Lizzo was already rumored. A Netflix docuseries was quietly in the works, working title, The Exit.